We are excited to share with you our new research data repository, hosted on figshare. Before we show you more, let's listen to figshare's introduction to this platform for research institutions.
Researchers are passionate about the research they do. They put a huge amount of effort into their research and should get credit for all outputs, from data to null results. Data is increasingly being recognized as a first-class research object, so sharing the data that underlies the findings of a traditional research article can make research easier to reproduce and can unlock new avenues of inquiry. Making data open, accessible, and persistent also complies with many funder mandates. Research data managers and librarians should be able to easily manage all research outputs at their institution, from open access publications to research data. Figshare for Institutions is a place for researchers to get credit for all their research outputs, from papers to data, while giving research data managers control over their institution's research outputs. Figshare's all-in-one repository continues to cater to the needs of a data repository by making data citable, shareable, discoverable, and fair. You can upload any file type into your Figshare for Institutions repository and preview over 1,200 file types in the browser for maximum engagement and impact. Data on Figshare is given a citable DOI, thorough metadata, and a reuse license. Once published, content is marked for indexing in Google, Google Scholar, Google Dataset Search, and other search engines. Users can track the views, downloads, citations, and alt metrics of their data for measuring impact. With Figshare's new all-in-one repository functionality, papers can be uploaded into your Figshare repository alongside the data, providing a holistic representation of your institution's research outputs, where you can showcase your papers with handle minting, cover sheets for PDFs, custom item types, and a full publication timeline on the item pages. Researchers can collaborate on ongoing research with colleagues at other institutions with projects and can group data together into a collection. Administrators can manage their institution's users, groups, and storage. They can also create custom metadata fields for items, projects, and collections. Reviewers can approve or reject items before they become publicly available, editing items that come into the review pool easily and quickly. Reporters can keep track of usage statistics using a fully customizable dashboard with exportable reports. Reports include, but are not limited to, views, downloads, storage used, top viewed items, and more. Research management is done via a customizable portal that is easily integrated with your organization's existing systems. A dedicated support team is on hand to answer your questions. You'll also receive one-on-one support throughout the implementation process. Additionally, we offer a range of engagement support once you've implemented Figshare, from personalized demos just for your researchers to co-branded materials for campus events. Join our community of users to share ideas, spread best practice knowledge, and discuss future developments at Figshare, along with all our existing institutional customers. The new all-in-one Figshare repository for papers and data.
So that was a quick overview of why institutions like the University of the Free State uses Figshare to host their data repositories. Now let's take a look at our own Figshare. You'll find us at ufs.figshare.com, and it couldn't be more simple to create an account. Just click on Login in the top right corner and log in with your University of the Free State credentials. The first time you log in, you will be asked to agree to the transfer of minimal personal information, your name and email address. The university subscribes to Sapphire, the South African Identity Federation for the South African and higher education community. They facilitate access to other academic institutions so that you can use your university login to access resources at other universities and education-related institutions around the world. What this means in Figshare is that your collaborators from other institutions can be a part of your spaces on Figshare using their own institutional credentials. Now that you've activated your account, we can give you storage space for your data. a quick application via our research data management libguides, and you will be up and running. We'll be showing you some basic how-tos today, courtesy of Figshare's tutorial videos on YouTube. But you're most welcome to contact us for training sessions through the Digital Scholarship Centre. And we will be expanding our own YouTube tutorials to include all things Figshare soon. So first up, here is how to upload to Figshare.
This video will go through the process of uploading research to Figshare. For a breakdown of each field in the upload form and to jump ahead in the video, check out the timestamps in the description of this video. To log in, click on the red Login button on the top right side of the screen. Enter your username and password. These may be your institution's single sign-on credentials, or you may have been issued a username and password. Once you've logged in, select the Create a New Item button from the top left, or just drag and drop files into the browser. Dragging more than one file into the browser will prompt you to create one item with multiple files, or create individual new items. Insert a title. Be as descriptive as possible in this field, as it helps with discoverability of your data within Figshare and in search engines. Add authors. You can also search by entering the email address or ORCID ID of the author you want to add, if the author has synced their ORCID to their Figshare account. To add an author who doesn't have a Figshare account, select Add Author Details and enter their name, an optional email address, and an optional ORCID ID. You can rearrange the order in which the authors appear and remove yourself as an author if you are uploading on behalf of someone else. Select a category. These are taken from the Australian Fields of Research classification system. You can choose more than one and either select from the drop-down menu or search for your subject area. If you can't find exactly what you're looking for, we recommend finding the best option and getting more specific in the keywords section, which we'll get to in a moment. You may see a field called Group. This is an optional field set by your institution, which allows users to select the group in which the item should appear. If this field appears on your institution's instance of Figshare, please select a group from the drop-down menu. You can also search for the group in the search bar at the top of the menu. When this item is published, it will appear in the group you have selected from the menu. If the text in the field is gray, it means you only belong to one group and are unable to select any alternative groups. Select the item type from the drop-down menu. We accept any file type and preview over 1,200 file extensions in the browser. Add keywords. These should be more specific than the category and help others find your research. Add as many keywords as you want, just hit enter after each keyword. Figshare remembers ones you've entered previously and will suggest keywords based on keywords that have been added to the database previously by other authors. Write a description. This should include any relevant information that pertains to your research. This might include information about the methodology, approval for data collection, or legal or ethical requirements. Be as descriptive as you can. You can also paste HTML into this field. You can also add funding information related to your data and references to other materials related to your research outputs. When typing in your funder information, Figshare will search the Dimensions database, a sister company of Digital Science, for your funder and hyperlink to the Dimensions page, bridging the connection between your research outputs and the funder. To add funding information that doesn't appear in Dimensions, just type the funder information into the field and don't select anything from the drop-down menu. Select a license. This will determine how others can reuse your data. You can choose from a number of licenses based on your reuse requirements. For more information on which license to choose, click What's This above the field. Tick Publish. When doing so, you'll be prompted to check the license you've assigned and the terms of use. If your institution has review turned on, you may be notified that your item will be sent for review before it's made publicly available. Make sure everything you have submitted is accurate. Once it's published, it's permanently available. You can, however, make changes to a published item and generate a new version of the item.
Next up, figshare shows us how to create collections to help organize your data, and how to create projects for collaboration. Remember, if your collaborator's institution subscribes to Sapphire, giving them access to your project on the University of the Free State instance of figshare is easy.
Collections are ways of collating data that bring it together under a theme. They can be either private or public and will be assigned their own DOI, Digital Object Identifier. To create a collection, go to the Collections tab under My Data. Most fields are the same as creating an item on Figshare, with the fields with green dots next to them required to publish. Click Save Changes once you've completed the form. There are two ways to add data to a collection. Once you've created the collection, select Add Public Items or My Data. If you select from public items, you can search and select the items you wish to add to your collection. The same process applies if you choose from your data. If you're a member of an institution that is using Figshare for institutions, you can also filter by your institution's data. If you find a public item you wish to add to a collection, simply select Collect and choose the collection to add it to. Once you've collected your data, you can make your collection public by selecting the Manage gear wheel on the right side of the screen and selecting Publish Collection. Once you've published a collection, it's permanent. You can also add items to your collection after you publish it. Click on the Collections tab, select the collection you wish to add items to, click Add New Items on the left-hand side, and add the items you wish to add from your My Data or across the Figshare database. To show these items in your public collection, you must generate a new version of the collection. To do so, click on the Manage wheel at the top right and click Generate Version. You can always go back and reference previous versions of a collection if you want. Projects are collaborative spaces used for ongoing work. You can upload data that is in progress and have members of your project make comments or upload their own research. Projects are secure spaces that can be used for sensitive data. You can also collaborate with people outside your institution by inviting them to your project. To create a project, go to your My Data page and select the Projects tab. Click on the Create a New Project button. Complete the metadata fields as descriptively as possible. If this project is for individual use, select the Individual option under Allocate Storage. To use group storage, select the Group option and find the relevant group. There are two different types of projects for Figshare for institutions users: individual projects and group projects. For individual projects, everyone uses their own quota and account storage. People take their work with them if they leave the project. Items are created using the metadata schema of the submitter. Items appear in the subgroup of the uploader, and items published by users from outside the organization don't have to go through review if review is turned on for the group. For group projects, submitters' quota will not be used. Storage allocation comes directly from the project. All work is stored on institutional storage and remains within the project space if people leave. Contributors must adopt the metadata schema of the project owner. Items appear in the subgroup of the project owner, and items published by users from outside the organization have to go through review if review is turned on for the group. Add users to the project by searching on the right-hand side. Users can either be collaborators or viewers. Collaborators can comment on the project and data within it and upload items, while viewers can only view the data. To add users not currently on Figshare, click on the Invite New Users link. To add data and notes to a project, select Add a New Item, which takes you to the metadata form. Once you've saved the item, it will appear on the home page of the project. As a collaborator, you can comment on individual items within the project or on the project as a whole. You can also move data from your My Data to a project by clicking the checkbox to the left of the item you want to move in your My Data, clicking on Actions, selecting Move to from Project, and select the project you want to move the data to. To make the project public, you must first make at least one item public within the project. Please note that the project owner, collaborators, and viewers cannot edit another uploader's items. Items must be downloaded, edited, and re-uploaded to the project.
Let's also take a look at how you can use keywords to organize your files.
You can use the keyword feature to organize your files in figshare. To use keywords to organize files, first upload the items you want to organize into your My Data. Select the items you want to add a keyword to, i.e. items you want to organize within a folder, and click Actions, Edit in Batch. From this screen, you can add metadata to all items you've chosen to edit. In this example, we've added land use maps of the UK to the start of each title and some keywords to each one. Land use mapping, project XYZ123, XYZ-maps-folder. Then the two maps from England were selected, and batch edit was used to give those the additional keyword tag. XYZ123-England-subfolder. Then the two maps from Northern Ireland were selected, and batch edit was used to give those the additional keyword tag. XYZ123-Northern Ireland-subfolder. Now that these items have various keywords acting as folders and subfolders, you can search within your My Data to see items with one or more of these keywords. You can then add these items to a project and search within the project for various keywords. Adding these items to a project is a good way of allowing others to upload items as well. Another member of the project, with contributor status, can add more items to the project with the appropriate folder and subfolder tags, so that searches for those keyword tags within the project would find the items from both contributors. Batch edit can be used to replace these tags prior to publication if you don't want these internal file management tags to be seen on the published items.
Up next, how to reserve a DOI.
You may want to reserve a DOI for your research and share that DOI with a publisher during the article submission process for the associated publication to your data in figshare. You don't need to publish an item to reserve a DOI. Just create an item in figshare, go to the bottom of the screen, and select Reserve a DOI. Share the DOI with your article's publisher to cite in the publication. When your article is published, edit the item in figshare so it's publicly available. The reserved DOI you shared with the publisher will then resolve to the public figshare item.
If you would like to restrict access to your files, here's how. As well as adding embargoes to your items and generating a private link that you can use to share your work.
You may want to place an embargo on the files and metadata, or just the files, ahead of publication or due to commercial reasons. Simply upload the files and metadata, scroll to the bottom of the form, and select the Apply Embargo and Restricted Access button. Select the embargo period, either from the drop-down menu or the date selector. Select Permanent Embargo for items that should remain under embargo indefinitely. Choose whether the embargo is on the files only or on the entire content, files and metadata. If you're using figshare for institutions, you may also see a section relating to who can access this embargoed content. Some options may not be available as they won't have been configured by your institution. To restrict the embargoed content to no other users, select Nobody. If you're an administrator and are uploading content you want accessible only to designated administrators, select Administration. To restrict access to a custom group of people, select Custom. From here, you can select a group of logged-in users, either the entire institution or certain groups within your institution's instance of figshare, or specific IP ranges. Lastly, include a reason as to why this item is under embargo. This is useful for people viewing the metadata record.
There is a feature on the item upload page that allows you to generate a private link. This can be done while your item is still in draft form to share with colleagues or for peer review purposes. Simply click Generate Private Link to create a link you can share externally. When viewing the private link, certain metadata is removed to make it double-blind peer review compliant, including name and institutional affiliation. You can disable access to the private link at any time by returning to the item upload form, hovering over the X next to the private link area, and clicking Disable. Please note that private links are intended to be a temporary solution to sharing your data. Sharing private links are not a sustainable option for publishing your research outputs in the long term.
Now that you've been adding content for a while, let's show you how you can request more storage.
If your institution has figshare for institutions, you will have the ability to request more storage quota for uploading items from your institution's administrator. To request more storage, go to your My Data page. Here, you'll see how much storage allocation you have. To request more, click on Request More Storage. Enter the total overall storage quota you require and any additional comments that may assist your administrator when deciding on the modified storage amount. Click Submit, and once approved, your new quota amount will be visible in the storage bar.
And a few last tips for you: how to create a linked file, how to create a metadata record, and how to edit an item's timeline.
For research that is stored elsewhere, you may want a record of it in figshare. Perhaps the files are too large or in a fit-for-purpose repository elsewhere, but that repository doesn't provide a DOI, a digital object identifier, for the research. You can include a link to the research storage location elsewhere, fill in the fields in the upload form, and publish the item. When a linked file item is published, it looks like this, with a link to the files at the top and the information about the research below. You may not have files associated with research, but you want a reference of the research in figshare. You can upload a metadata record in figshare, which is an item with no files associated to it. Just fill in the upload item form with metadata, and at the top of the form, select the box Metadata Record Only. This option only appears if you haven't uploaded a file to the item. This is an example of a metadata record on figshare. There are no files, but the metadata for the research is publicly available. On the item upload form, there's an option to edit the item's timeline on the right-hand side. The standard timeline points are posted date and first online date. The posted date is generated when publishing an item and is the date of the latest public version. If there is no public version, no date will appear. This is a system-generated date and cannot be edited. The first online date will be set as the initial posted date of the record. This can be amended to a different date from the posted date. If your institution has figshare for institutions, you may see other custom timeline dates as well.
The University of the Free State will also be using figshare to host its open educational resources. So visit us on ufs.figshare.com/UFSOER. Don't forget to follow us on social media and our blog for more content on figshare at the University of the Free State.